Everything you're recommending is spot on. It's exactly what we need to do. We're going to implement that and more, but nothing could change for 2 years. Excuse me? You just said it's spot on. And this is what you're going to do because it's necessary for your company to survive. Nothing had changed for 2 years. I sat in that conversation with a vice president of operations at a company that was struggling and was just astounded. They were very aggressively optimizing operations. I had been brought in to create a Six Sigma program for them. We were having success with that, moving forward slowly, but on their schedule. I just felt we could have done more faster. And that's why we were having that conversation. The challenge was the vice president of operations and a few other people on the executive team were not going to allow any significant change for at least 2 to 3 years. This is part 3 of our discussion about what happens when a company implements changes in the wrong place and they're not ready for a technology transition like AI. Here's what this has to do with AI. Many companies are implementing use cases that are very helpful. Perhaps a internal voice agent that answers questions about policy and procedure. Very helpful. Having a customer service bot or customer service agent triage incoming customer service requests and complaints. Very helpful. Or perhaps even having an agent run some of their marketing, doing responses with incoming marketing leads. That can be helpful. Those are excellent cost-saving, technology advancing implementations that add value to your business. Is that really where you're going to get the most leverage? What's happening in your marketplace? Start with what your customers are asking, what they're focusing on, and what's happening in your marketplace. Are there emerging fringe new services, new technologies being released in your marketplace that aren't an immediate threat, but provide you with a signal on where things are heading over the next 24 months? That's something to pay attention to before really setting massive change in place in your company. Make sure you're focusing on the right things. The story I was sharing at the beginning of this video is a great example of a company that optimized the wrong thing and they missed their market. It cost 300 people their jobs and the company closed as a result. Those are the type of errors that from a leadership position we need to be paying attention to, correct? It's not just about optimizing what's going on inside the company. That's fine. The bigger issue is optimizing what customers want. How can we better serve them? How can we innovate what they're asking for? When is the last time that you sat down with your 3 biggest customers, maybe over lunch, cup of coffee, and asked them one at a time what it is that they valued most about what your company does for them? What is it that they would like to have but currently don't get from your company? Then completely blue sky, what is it that they would like to have in the marketplace that's currently not available because it's just outside the realm of how things are done, or perhaps because the technology hasn't been available to implement some of this. For example, the whole working from home remote situation that we had during the COVID lockdown wouldn't have been possible 10 years before that. We didn't have the technology in place for everybody to be able to work home, especially in massive numbers like that, and be able to communicate with them effectively. We didn't have the tools needed to be able to effectively hold meetings day to day, let alone actually conduct work the way that we did at that time and continue to do where it makes sense. So look at that question first, and then start walking back into your business. What is it that the customer really wants? What operations within the company actually directly deliver on that, which don't? In the book Learning to See by Rothert and Shook in the 1990s, they did a fabulous job of showing how to go about doing that, how to identify what is really valuable to your customer, what is not value driven, things that we can eliminate, and things that are necessary but not directly of value to your customer. Like accounting, very necessary, not directly of value to your customer. Would your customer pay you for that function? No, but they understand that it's baked in to your cost of your offering because it's necessary to run your business. Looking at those things. So what we want to do is, how do we maximize the value-driven stuff? How do we get rid of the non-value activity? And how do we optimize on to make best use of the things that are necessary, but not directly related to delivering customer value? This may seem like old hat because this is going all the way back into the 1990s, not that long ago for some of us. Going back into the 1990s and looking at a conversation that had started that and continues today, the principle still stands true. Looking at the value, how you create value. What is the stream, the flow of value? Looking at it from your customer's perspective, then back through to where you're getting supplies, what services you purchase, looking at what products you purchase, what services you purchase in order to be able to deliver what you deliver to your customer. Then looking for opportunities to dramatically alter the delivery in a very positive way to give the customer more of what they want based on what's available with AI technology today. What have become popular use cases are very valuable for getting started with AI. The big win will come from making sure your organization is ready for AI and that you're keeping it tied to customer value in the marketplace and innovations around what customers value, or perhaps entering a new marketplace. Even in doing that, still have the same question: what's valued in that market when you enter it? How can you do something different? How can you innovate? Taking something that you are very, very good at in your current market niche and moving laterally into another market niche, still focused on what do the customers really want? How can you provide that in ways that's currently not available to them? Then apply AI. Internally, it's crucial to make sure that the data that's necessary for AI to be effective in your organization has been prepared. What gaps are there? What handoffs? Where different systems have different formats. Oftentimes, there's an accounting system and a CRM and a manufacturing planning system that all have different databases that can't talk to each other. How does that get handled? Is there a transition plan for making sure that that gets converted into one readable database that all of them have access to? What's the plan? Just looking at those kinds of things, because that will defeat your AI implementation on a company-wide scale. One of the challenges in being able to go big, to be able to go company-wide and get beyond the use cases that have delivered value and turning that into a company system, a company AI operating system that will deliver massive value. And companies that do that kind of prep work, that look at, do we have the foundation laid in? Are we reorganizing processes in a way that we can do with AI but couldn't do before that? They're the ones that are getting 300 times the results that organizations that are just implementing AI around the edges are getting, or that aren't preparing before implementing. The company that I've been discussing with you over the last 3 episodes, they optimized internally, did well with that, made gains, 3%, 10% cost cutting here and there. They laid off another 20% of their workforce, helped with managed payroll costs. The problem was it was the wrong place to optimize. It didn't help them in the marketplace. What their customers really wanted were more stable systems, less maintenance cost, less cost of ownership in the field for the products they were selling. And they had a major competitor that was willing to provide that. Instead of working on that issue, they worked on optimizing internally so that their costs would be reduced. No tie-in to what the customer was actually asking for. That sealed their fate. While the VP of operations wanted to wait 2 years to make massive changes, the company didn't last 18 months. That's unfortunate. Happens a lot. That's happening with AI as well. Optimizing in the wrong places, making the wrong moves, the wrong uses can have a detrimental effect. There's a company named Klarna. You've likely heard of them. Now, Klarna, Klarna. It's a case where they put a whole new customer service agentic AI process in place, bragged about it, laid off a whole bunch of people, and within a month or two, they had serious problems because the agentic AI system did not address the actual customer concerns. They had an internal focus when they created it, did not have a customer first focus to take a look at what they were doing and put a system in place that could not handle the types of questions. Or in other words, they put a system in place that wasn't prepared to deal with relationship management, which is a huge part of customer service. So they alienated a bunch of their customers. They ended up scrambling to hire back a lot of their fired employees. Made a public apology, much to his credit. To be fair, hindsight is very, very clear, where at the time, things that in the context of the moment were very good decisions can be clearly seen as going, yeah, what were we thinking when we did that? Not to bash Klarna, they really deserve accolades for recognizing the challenge that they had created and course correcting. It was just a very, very expensive challenge. Smaller company may not have been able to survive that kind of pissing off their customer base that Klarna was able to recover from. Does provide a good example of, look, make sure you've got the bigger picture, you've got the right metrics. It's a whole topic we could get into at another time, but these types of considerations before implementing big transformational changes that are organizational wide or that affect your customer relationship, your customer facing activities. It's not just transaction, and it's certainly not just internal cost. It's about making sure that your customers view you as the solution, the provider to come to in your market niche, and perhaps a way, if I could offer for your consideration, to have a guidance, a signal that you're doing really well in that is they come and ask you about things that are outside of your area. You're going, hey, can you connect us with on other services and whatnot? That's a great sign of a solid relationship with your customers. And as AI continues to commoditize market after market, service after service, product after product, that relationship is what's going to be golden for being able to survive and thrive across the next 24 months as AI continues to evolve. Think that's off point? Love to hear your comments. Love to hear your pushback. Have a conversation in the comments below. If you'd like to have a longer conversation, 20 minutes, no pitches, just a virtual cup of coffee and some more lessons learned to share, just click the link below, schedule a meeting. I look forward to talking with you then.